Welcome to the Pure Powerlifting Podcast, podcast number 57, with special guest Brian Siders. Before we get to Brian, Jason Beck and I are going to talk over some of the happenings going on in USA Powerlifting. Specifically, we haven't had a podcast in a while, and one thing I wanted to go over is the Arnold event. As a participant in the 242, it was a pretty interesting day, and it lived up to the hype as far as the amount of people were there, the amount of competitors, and it was a great inaugural event for USAPL. And I'm very happy to have been invited, but I was not horribly impressed with my own lifting, but that's the way it goes. I went for an 804 squat, my first 800-pound squat attempt, and didn't have enough groin health in me for it, and didn't end up having a great total day. But even if I had my best day, Mike Mastrion kind of walked away with it in the 242s. Did you see the video of that, Jason?
Oh, yeah, it was unbelievably strong. It looked like Mike changed some things up. I noticed he brought his stance, actually brought it in quite a bit, and then he made the switch to a weightlifting shoe. And I think he used to wear Chuck Taylor's or a similar flat-soled shoe, but he got the heel, brought his stance in, and he hit it deep, and it was definitely strong. He was a lot stronger than he was at Nationals, put it that way. So it looks like the modifications he made and his setup and his stance and everything definitely paid off. And he's had depth problems in the past where he was kind of borderline. The calls didn't always go his way, but it looks like he definitely fixed that without question.
One of the things that happened during the our competition is the big super heavyweight went down with what he dropped, 900 and some pounds. It was Jeff Lewis went down in the squat. Mike and I were actually in the back, warmed up, sitting in our bench shirt, and you've seen him before. He's just like he blocks the sunlight, and I couldn't imagine trying to spot a guy like that, that large. There's definitely been some controversy over whether the spotters did the right thing or could have done a better job. Regardless of what happened, everybody was definitely, I've never heard a crowd kind of lose their wind in the middle of the tournament like that. I mean, they literally was and there was a couple thousand people in the room at the time at least, and so that kind of threw off my own lifting, but it also threw off kind of the feeling on the event, because Jeff went down, and he was down for, I would say, over 20 minutes. It seemed like it. If he wasn't, I'd be surprised if it was sooner than that. They took him out on a gurney, and heard I forget, Rick Fowler gave an update on USA Powerlifting not too long ago, saying he's in the recovery mode. I think he ruptured tendons in his knee. I should have all the facts on that, but he's got a long road back. Plus, with his his body weight, it's got to be difficult to have both legs out of commission for any type of rehab, even on someone who's small. And Jeff's over 500 pounds in body weight. I think he tips over 500. So it's definitely going to be a long, hard recovery, but everybody's wishing him well. Some of the sentiment was that it was a USAPL thing, and I was sitting in the back when it happened, and I was thinking to myself, I can't wait to see how this gets twisted and turned on the websites about walkouts and whatever in USAPL, but it wasn't during the walkout. It was as he was coming out of the bottom. He just got hurt, and the spotters weren't able to grab the bar quick enough or get to the bar quick enough before several rear spotters got taken out, and taken out hard. I mean, there was some concern for the back spotter. It was such a bad fall. So all in all, it was a real cool weekend seeing Mike Bridges going for a world record, Wade Hooper breaking the world record in the squat again.
Which he's, I believe he's lost since then, hasn't he?
Yep, yeah, he lost it a few weeks ago, which Men's Nationals is coming up here in less than 3 weeks. I'm sure he's eyeing it up again.
Yeah, setting up a big squat for Wade.
Yeah, so it was only by an increment. Like I think it was only by 2.5 kilos that he's gotten beat. So I'm sure Wade's going to try to go take it back down in Killeen at Men's Nationals. And then the division to watch was world champion 275 Tony Cardella against I apologize if I pronounce Mike Tucschener. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation. Man alive, he's a strong dude. He lived up to all the hype. His lifts were solid, and he just dominated the competition. I mean, it was beyond. I mean, he had, like, I forget what they were saying. We had Rick Fowler was one of the announcers, excellent announcers. We had him here on PurePowerlifting, and he was like he's a historian compared to me and Jason, and he was saying it was like the 4th or 5th highest USAPL total of all time, and it was at 275 bodyweight. So, I mean, behind Brian Siders and Brad Gillingham, I don't know, it might even surpass Brad's, I'm not sure.
I don't know, that's pretty impressive, and it shows that people can come out of nowhere on any certain year and really push everybody.
Remember, Tony didn't bring him up in the podcast interview we did with him before the Arnold. He brought him up, and there was video out there, and I guess he had a solid collegiate result, but like not a lot of people keep a close eye on all the collegiates, and so I guess he did have some good performances there, but I don't recall him winning worlds or anything like that. But I guess from a collegiate national perspective, he did quite well. So, yeah, Mike Tucschener, apologize, he's from the Pacific Division. He's actually out of the Air Force Academy. I got to talk to his mother out in the crowd during the event. He actually barely got there based on some commitments he has with the Air Force. But he made it out. He took a real late flight out of Denver, and got there, and not optimal, and he totals over 2,343 pounds at 275, and he surpassed Tony Cardella, who won the World Championships by 42 and a half kilos.
That's huge.
And I believe Tony's total, I mean, Tony only missed a few benches. Tony was only, 10 kilos off his best. So it wasn't like Tony didn't bring his game. This guy, Mike, he just really, he has stepped it up. I mean, he squatted 400 kilos and deadlifted 372 and a half. And, then he went for, I don't know if it was, they show a 391 attempt, which means it probably was a world record attempt in the deadlift, or the world record. Yeah, it has to be a world record attempt in the deadlift then. So it's just, and he was like, he's not heavy set. He's just a hulky looking guy, and he did an 862 deadlift. And just cruised. I mean, when you have Wade Hooper and you have Mike Bridges, and you have someone come in and defeat the current 275 world champion at an event like the Arnold, it says a lot. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens at Nationals. Tony's definitely got to go back and he's got to step up his game. And being Tony's so consistent, I don't know the consistency of this Mike Tucschener. I'm not sure of it. But we know Tony Cardella is one of the most consistent heavyweight guys that's been on the U.S. team year after year. So I got to expect him to come in with a bigger total and to be consistent. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's setting up quite a battle for nationals next month here.
Let's go on to the other events at the Arnold. All right, in the pro deadlift, you had lifters, both male and female, lifted in the pro deadlift. Priscilla Ribic walked away with the best deadlift, and this was worked out by formula. So I'm not sure of how the formula worked on this, but she came away with a 237.5 kilo deadlift, which is roughly 524 pounds at 165. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that the women's nationals was a week before this event. So, and then Dalian James was second, and she had the same lift but heavier body weight, and Jessica O'Donnell also had the same lift at 237.5 kilos. The girls are really stepped it up, and the fact that these females came off of women's nationals and put on such a good performance says a lot. The deadlift champion in the men's division was Brad Gillingham, Randall Harrison second, and Nick Toluki in third. It just all figured out by formula. Guys in the competition, just Jeremy Hartman fourth, Pat McGinnigan fifth, Sean Coleman sixth, Craig Terry seventh. Dave Ricks was all the way down in ninth. Just an unbelievable deadlift competition to have names like that not being first, In the Arnold bench press division, they had an Asian team and a European team. Actually, Brian got edged out. Brian Siders is going to be joining us here in a few minutes. Got edged out by a gentleman from Japan. I'm not even going to try to say his name, but he just edged Brian out. Brian took a 350 on a second attempt and missed it, and then took it on a third and nailed it. This gentleman from Japan, Madute, I'll try that. I apologize. Was able to hit all three attempts and hit 353.5 on his third attempt, which gave him first place in the heavyweight. That works out to 779 pounds, which just edges Brian's world record attempt. But Brian, and also we could talk about it a little bit, but Brian was also competed in the strongman through the weekend. So you got to take that into a factor that Brian was able to do a 777-pound bench after competing with the world's strongest man doing strongman competition. So great competition. It was just crazy amount of people. I'm hoping they invite me back, but I'm not sure. This year I'm taking men's nationals off due to injuries and family commitments, so I will not be attending this year's men's nationals in Killeen. So my total won't be improving. Well, thanks. That was our wrap up for the Arnold, and I believe we have got Brian Siders and Doug Currents on the line. Are you there, guys?
Yeah, we're here. Titan Support System sells the highest performing gear in the land with the Super NXG Plus material. You will get unsurpassed performance. Now leading the way with the Katana Bench shirt, which is breaking records across the board in just about every contest. If you have an arch or a flat back bench presser, Titan has a shirt for you. Get a custom shirt from Titan to maximize your lifting performance and potential. From bench shirts to knee wraps to squat shoes, TitanSupport.com has what you need. Call toll-free 1-800-627-3145 or go to TitanSupport.com.
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Also on the phone with us is Jason Beck.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Jason. Hey, what you say, Jason?
What's up?
Oh, not much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. Doug Currents, and for those who don't know, well, I'll let Doug. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, native West Virginian. I've been in this game for about, I hate to say how many years, 20 plus years. How's that? And I've won a couple national competitions and still waiting to go to that world contest, probably in the Masters. But now I'm training with Brian, and, I've really increased my total, and some of my lifts had really advanced given his technique. So there you go.
All right. Thanks, Doug. And without need for introduction, Brian Siders, thanks for joining us here on the Pure Powerlifting podcast. And also, thanks for coming out to the American Open. I want to start out with the American Open December 2007 and get your thoughts on how that contest went for you.
It was a great contest. I didn't really know what to expect at first. I had a really good training cycle, so my goal was to set PRs and all the lifts. I think everything went well. I would have liked to have that third squat, but other than that, it was a great meet.
Yeah, Brian was able to, what was it, 2601 or was it 2602 total?
I think the kilos added up to 2602.
602. Highest total in IPF history, obviously a world record again. And it was just an excellent day, just one miss in the squat, and it was a step on we were using it was the last national event really to get away with the Vanco bar, a little bit on the springy side. Man, it was 1,003 came up so fast that it just threw you for a step back. I couldn't believe how quick that was. It was great. I was fortunate enough to be the meet director of that event, and I was kind of saddened that the weather wasn't better because not as many people as I would have liked to have seen a 2602 total came out with the snowstorm. We were supposed to get a big snowstorm, and it really didn't end up being that bad, but I believe it kept a lot of the out-of-town people away. But thanks again for coming out. Just a super day, and he did it pretty effortlessly, 2,600 total.
Brown's Gym in Clark Summit, Pennsylvania is northeastern Pennsylvania's 24-hour gym. Now for just $19.95 per month, you can lift 24 hours a day. Jim and Janelle Brown, both North American Powerlifting Federation champion powerlifters, invite you to step to the next level as powerlifters and strength athletes. They have power racks, lifting platforms, reverse hypers. For those with families, daycare during your workout is free. For more information, go to brownsgym.net.
This is the Pure Powerlifting Podcast.
Let's go to the Arnold event. Not a lot of the folks got to see, but I didn't get to see any of it. Can you tell me a little bit how your strongman weekend went, and then what happened in the bench press, and what you thought of your results there?
The strongman contest went wonderful, I thought. I really improved on several events, and I was happy with each event pretty much except for one, the farmer's carry. But the thing with strongman is everybody else improves so fast too, so you never know how you're going to end up. So And then the bench press on Sunday went probably better than I expected. I didn't really know. At one point, I'd even wondered if I wasn't going to do it or not, but because I didn't know how it would. We got done at, I believe, at 12:30 at night from the last strongman event, and so I was pretty much fried from that. But I ended up staying up all night. I think that helped me because since I didn't sleep, I wasn't as sore. A lot of times when you wake up after sleep, you're more sore than you were before you get into bed. So although I was tired, it went a lot better than I expected. I didn't really think my third attempt would be that easy, or I would have went for more. And plus, we watched Medode's second attempt, and I didn't think he would make his third, but he came through and got it. So.
Yeah. So you didn't sleep the night before?
No, I think I got back to the hotel room. We had to go to a banquet, and they did the last strongman event after the bodybuilding show over at the other venue where they have the bodybuilding, the Veterans Field House. So I was just kind of wound up. I won the last event, and I was happy. I believe I jumped from 8th place to 5th place on the last event, so I was kind of happy about that, and we went to the banquet, and then a lot of the guys I see, like Kokliov and a few other strongman competitors I see once a year, so I talked to them as much as I could after the contest, and so, yeah, I just ended up, by like 3 or 4, I just decided I was just going to stay up and eat and drink as much as I could. I don't know.
Yeah, you can thank the Russians for that.
Like I said, it's neat to talk to them about training, and it's not every day you get to talk to everybody across the world, especially people that compete at that level, about training techniques and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I used to we've talked about before, we're getting a charge out of being able to talk to the Russians and stuff after the Junior Worlds and things like that, and that IPF Worlds. I can only imagine hanging out with the top strongman and just the top competitors. And then I know that banquet's like a who's who in strength sports and fitness and everything at that dinner there. I've been to it once, but I had to pay top dollar to go there. So I was just a schmuck who bought the ticket. So
well, by the time we there wasn't any food left hardly, so you may have better.
That's pretty cool. I mean, they ran the final event right on the stage where they do the finals of the bodybuilding?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And
that's like I don't know what it is backstage. Like the year I went to all the things. I mean, there was like Las Vegas acts during parts of that show. Also, do they still do that?
Yeah, I believe they did something like that before. Some kind of gymnastics act, or it was something like you said. They may have done it before, in between the bodybuilding and us. So
right. That's really cool.
GarageIncPowerlifting.com is Pennsylvania's Titan support systems gear distributor. Today you can call GarageIncPowerlifting.com and get Titan, Fury, Katana, or F6 bench shirts. Nico Hoslander, the owner of Garage Inc. Powerlifting, is ready to hear from you today. Call 717-779-5622. Garage Inc. also distributes Quest Nutrition products. These are supplements that fuel lifters like Wade Hooper, Brian Siders, and Caleb Williams, to name a few. Order now and get the top gear on all your nutritional needs at GarageIncPowerlifting.com. 717-779-5622.
This is the Pure Powerlifting Podcast.
We'll jump off the Arnold. Congratulations on the success there, and looking ahead as far as the U.S. Nationals, which is going to be about 2-3 weeks out from the Men's Nationals, return of to the USAPL Men's Nationals. What are some of your expectations, goals going into that?
It would be nice to set more personal records, and get a spot on the world team. That's pretty much, and then if I can't get the PRs, then I'll focus on making sure I get a spot on the world team again. So, hopefully my training is going pretty well. So
Gillingham's not going, but who else is there? Randall Harris, is he going to be on the nominations? I'm not sure.
I have no idea. I heard Jason Christus is supposed to.
Okay.
For a big total, and I have no idea actually. I just found out Gillingham wasn't going to be there maybe a week ago. So, and of course Jeff got hurt at the Arnold. So.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about his injury since the Arnold? Do you have any inside information there?
Actually, I don't. I hope the best for him. I hope he's doing well and recovering. Hopefully he'll be back to 100%, but I haven't heard any inside information at all.
Were you there during that event, or were you doing some strongman at that time?
We were competing in strongman. I believe we were in.
I was in the first flight of that session, and we did it earlier. We talked about it earlier. It was quite a horrific fall. So
yeah.
Speedy recovery to Jeff. And I just hope he can get back and get back under him and get back in the competition soon. I guess for the folks who haven't heard or read or gone into your website, can you tell us a little bit about your training?
It's very high volume. The intensity changes depending on how far I am from the meet, but the volume stays pretty consistent. I'll change exercises pretty frequently. It seems like I get stale very fast. Since I've updated my website, I've done more of the Chico stuff. I get with my own version. I've kind of spread out the days in my own schedule, and I add in my own assistance work instead of doing. And of course, I think the volume I do is still higher because I kind of spread out. I'll still squat and deadlift in the same day instead of squatting and benching and deadlift or whatever. I kind of change that around. And then when I get closer to a contest, I kind of do a peaking cycle. It's always worked for me in the past. And every time I've kind of got away from it, my total doesn't go where I want it to be. So I always end up going back to that, which is kind of like my own version of a basic traditional periodization routine that you would see, but I only do it for like 5 weeks usually. So I don't do the standard 12, but that's only one day of my training for the squat and the deadlift, and the bench I just.